Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a good day. It's sunny outside. We're alive. We're studying. We're making progress. We're doing better than we did yesterday. Thank God. Um, we reviewed what's the lights everything. We spoke about the engine compartment. We broke it down in three phases, from the general overview to everything with everything with caps, and then the three pieces on the engine compartment. And then we dived deeper into the engine bay. We spoke about the steering components, turned the wheel to the left, found more room to inspect pieces, and then we came down to the suspension. This video is gonna break down the last two subjects that we need to fully inspect the front of the vehicle, and that's gonna be the brakes and tires, okay? So let's get into it. First we're gonna start with is the brakes. All right, so again, analyze it, okay? We're gonna analyze this. We're gonna work our way from top all the way down. Okay, and then the thing is, we really can't see the caliper on that side, but for the sake of it, let's see what happens if we could turn the wheel to the other side. Let's see what happens. Turn the wheel, turning the wheel. Let's see what happens. Look, you really can't see nothing through here, okay? So that's just the only reason let me see, can you see the brake caliper? You can see the brake caliper there. All right, I prefer to see the wheel the way it was. And this is good that you all seen this in lifetime. We're just trying to find the best solution. So everything is smooth. You're not just stopping and thinking about what you're gonna do. We went to the front of the bus. We inspected the lights and reflectors. We went to the driver's side, popped the hood, put the hood prop. We spoke about the hoses and wires, and then we inspected everything from left to right. We have a structure. After that, we went to another phase, the engine compartment's pieces, which is the alternator, the water pump, the power steering pump. And then we spoke about the steering components. And we said to inspect further pieces, we had to turn the wheel to the left. And it allowed us to see more space in this vehicle. And then we also spoke about the suspension. Now we're gonna talk about the brakes, okay? And again, analyze it, what's going on here, okay? So let's talk about the first piece right here. This is an ABS wire. It is secured, not cracked, worn, or exposed wires. Next is the brake hose. The brake hose, it is mounted securely by coupling. It is not cracked, worn, or leaking fluid. Okay? Next thing we're gonna talk about is that guy, the brake caliper. And if you can't see it, because obviously I'm cheating using the camera, so what we could do is we could inspect the brake caliper through here. See, right there goes the brake caliper. The brake caliper is mounted securely, no missing nuts and bolts. There are no cracked dents and leaks of fluid. Okay. Next thing is the rotor is mounted securely, no missing nuts and bolts. There are no cracked dents or holes. It is free of contaminants such as debris, grease, and oil. That's it. Okay, let's run this back again, okay? First we do the suspension, and then we do the brakes. When you look at the brakes, we work our way from top all the way down. We have the ABS wire, which is secured by sensor. It is not cracked, worn, or exposed. Next thing is the brake hose. The brake hose is secured by coupling. It is not cracked, worn, or leaking fluid. The brake caliper is mounted securely, no missing nuts and bolts. It is not cracked, dents, or leaking fluid. Next is the rotor, okay? The rotor is mounted securely, no missing nuts and bolts. There are no crack, dents, or holes, and it's free of contaminants such as debris, grease, and oil. The next thing we're going to check, which is hard, is the brake lining, okay? We're checking that the brake lining is not worn dangerously thin. The brake pad should not be less than 1/4 of an inch thin. The brake pad should not be less than 1/4 of an inch thin. And that's the brakes. Okay. Just so, and then after the brakes, we get a nice visual of the tire. Okay, what am I supposed to inspect? All right, don't panic. I got you, okay? We're going to work our way from the top and go all the way down, okay? Don't overthink this. We start with this, which is your tire tread. The tire tread is evenly worn. The tread depth, right? This is the tread depth right here. Cannot be less than 4/32 of an inch, okay? They start high, and eventually through running through the streets, it simmers down, and it gets less and less. So again, the tire tread is evenly worn. The tread depth cannot be less than 4/32 of an inch. These tires have to be original and cannot be recapped, regrooved, or retreaded, okay? Next thing we do is we inspect the tire sidewall, okay? The tire sidewall is free of abrasion, bubbles, and cuts, okay? ABC. All right, ABC. So the tire sidewall is free of A, abrasion, B, bubbles, C, cuts. Cool? After the tire sidewall, we're gonna look for the tire inflation. And the tire inflation is gonna be upside down, but it is 80 PSI cold. All right? So let's review this before we get lost. First, we spoke about the tire tread. Then we spoke about the tread depth. Then we spoke about the tire sidewall. Then we spoke about the tire inflation. Now we're going to talk about is the valve stem, from tire inflation to valve stem. The valve stem is secure, cap is present and tight, it's not cracked or leaking. I would use a tire pressure gauge to check for proper inflation. Okay? Valve stem. It is secured, cap is present and tight, cap is supposed to be here. It's not cracked or leaking. You would use a tire gauge to check for proper inflation, which should be 80 PSI. After that, we talk about the rim. The rim is secured to the tire. There are no open gaps. There are no dents. It's not cracked or bent. And it does not have any welding repairs. Okay, let's talk about that. The rim, my knee started to hurt a little bit. But the rim, if I could, I'd be down there a little bit more. But the rim is properly sealed to the tire. There are no gaps. It is not bent or damaged. And it is free of welding repairs. Next thing we talk about is the lug nuts. Lug nuts are all secure and present, free of cracks and distortion, and show no sign of looseness, such as rust trails and shiny threads. All right, that's a little wording there, but I'm gonna help you out with that, okay? Let's talk about the name and securement. The lug nuts is the name. All right, and the securement is that they're all secured and present. You want them all to be present out here. All right, now let's talk about the condition. It's free of cracks, right, and distortion. Distortion means, see the shape of an octagon? Over time, if you keep using some type of wrench, it sort of deforms it and it's gonna get distorted. It's gonna be rounded, okay? So again, lug nuts are all secure and present, free of cracks and distortion, okay? And they show no sign of looseness, such as rust trails and shiny threads, okay? Hub oil seal is secured, not cracked or leaking fluid. And you're done with the tire. Tires and brakes, all in one video. All right, let's recap on what we spoke about with the tire. Top down, we spoke about the tire tread, then the tread depth, and then the tire side wall, and then we spoke about the tire inflation. Then we spoke about the valve stem. Then we spoke about the rim, lug nuts, and the hub oil seal. And that's about it. This wraps up the front of the vehicle and all four subjects, which is lights, reflectors, engine compartment, steering components, and your steering axle, which consists of suspension, brakes, and tires. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everyone. Please review all this information. If you have any questions, please write them in the comment, share. Hope your friends are trying to get the license, is helping out. Again, if there's any questions, please put them in the comment below and I'll do the best I can to respond.